Everyone's building AI agents right now. Most of them are over engineering it. Here's what's actually worth building. AI agents are everywhere and they sound powerful. Give it a goal, hand it some tools, let it figure out the rest. Problem is, most workflows people are building agents for follow a known pattern every time. They don't need an agent. They need an automation with one or two AI steps dropped in at the right place. This video breaks down what an agent actually is, when it earns its spot, and how to build something better for the cases where it doesn't. I'm Zack from InterDev Solutions. Our channel shows you how to streamline operations with automation and AI. If you need direct help, you can visit our website, interdevsolutions.com. An AI agent is an LLM with a goal and the autonomy to figure out how to reach it. You give it a prompt, maybe a set of tools it can call, it reasons through what to do next, picks a tool, looks at the output, reasons again, picks another tool, it keeps going until it decides it's done. The key word here is reasons. At every step, it's running inference, thinking. Every time it thinks, it's spending tokens, which is equal to money. That flexibility is also what makes it expensive and unpredictable. And for most workflows, you're paying for flexibility you don't actually need. Here's where it breaks down. Most business processes are unpredictable. A quote request comes in, you extract the details, check if the customer exists, and then you route it accordingly. That sequence is the same every single time. You could write a flowchart for this in about 10 minutes. So when you hand that to an agent, it has to reason through each step. Then MCPs get layered on top of this, which is the Model Context Protocol, which lets agents connect to external tools, data sources. It's useful, but in a predictable workflow, every MCP call adds latency and API overhead on top of the inference you're already running. So you're paying for intelligence on tasks that didn't need that intelligence. The result is slower, more expensive, and more likely to go off script than a plain automation doing the same job. There are full use cases for agents when the inputs are unpredictable and can't be mapped to rules ahead of time. When you're handling open-ended requests, could branch in ways you can't easily anticipate. Each step depends on the previous result in ways you couldn't have planned for ahead of time. Good way to think about this. If you can draw a flowchart for the process, you probably don't need an agent. If part of the flowchart would require someone to make a judgment call you can't predefine, that's where an agent may earn its spot. Most workflows people are building actually fall into the first category. What you should do instead is start by mapping the workflow as if AI doesn't exist. What happens first, then what happens, what decisions get made, get the full sequence down on paper or on some sort of mural board. Then go back through it and ask which steps are handling unstructured input or which ones require a judgment call you couldn't easily predefine. Those are your likely AI steps, usually one or two. Everything else runs as an automation, fast and predictable. Here it is in Relay. This is a quote request intake system. Step one is the trigger. A Gmail label gets added to an inbound email, which is called quote request. And then Relay begins the workflow or the automation. Step two is the AI step. The email body comes in unstructured from different customers. They all write differently, maybe send a PDF, something along those lines. The AI is going to look at that full email and extract the relevant details. I just have a really simple prompt here that's just passing in the thread and then asking for some structured out. With that structured output, we will log it back into Airtable or whatever our quote tracking system is. And I'll get into that in a moment. And step three finds an existing customer. If the customer exists, it's going to go look through our customer records based off of the email address. You could use a name, whatever. If it does not find that customer, then there's two paths here. If customers found, we're going to get that customer record, create the quote request, and add it back into Airtable. If there is no customer found, it's going to create a new customer for us in Airtable after giving us a human in the loop path or human in the loop step. So basically what the human in the loop step looks is it doesn't find a customer. So it's going to send us a notification. You can connect that with Slack or by email, and it will break down the information saying this customer was not found. Do you want to create a new customer? Sometimes for whatever reason, it may not find that customer, whether it's a different email address or for some other type of reason. And you may know that, hey, this customer actually does exist. I'm going to link them manually after the fact. So you may want to say, no, do not create that new customer, but we are still going to create the new quote request record. Now, this is a very simple workflow, but the point being here is we did not need an AI agent to be able to handle this entire process. There was really only one step that required AI, and that is to extract details from an unstructured input. Again, like I said, that could be a PDF, could be the email body itself, or both. And now we are using AI to extract those details and output them into a structured way so that we can get them into something like Airtable, for example. I just have a really simple quote request form here with the customer, a requested date, and some notes, stuff like that. And the great part about using something like Relay is it's really easy to build with. They now have this AI assistant over here. You can ask it to build whatever you want, and then from there you can iterate on the process. But it overall seems to do a pretty good job and will get you somewhere between 80 to 90% of the way there. Really quickly, I'm going to show you a quick demo of this. I have an email pre-written. I'm just going to send it. In a moment here, it will land in my inbox, and then I will drop it into my quote intake label, and that will trigger Relay over here. I don't have it turned on. I'm just going to do it as a test run. But in a moment, once I drop the email into that label, we will be able to come over here and give it a shot. Okay, the email came in. I have the label added. If I come in here to do a test run, thread is this quote needed. I can start the test run, and we can see that it's now been triggered. The AI step ran very quickly, and there was no customer. It's asking me, do you want to create a new customer? I'm going to say yes. So I'll scroll down to the bottom here, approve it, and click submit. Close this out. It's going to create the new customer, and it will add the quote request. If I come back into Airtable, we can see a new customer was created. If I go into quotes, it linked to that customer, and it has the information in here. If I open it up, we can see the details from the email. You can make it more structured if you have set products within your Airtable base or whatever database you're using. You can have it go look for those specific and associated products and link it back to the quote as well. Before you build out your next AI agent or automation, ask yourself a couple of questions. Can I draw a flowchart for this process? If yes, it probably needs to be built as an automation or a workflow using something like Relay, or Zapier, or Make, or any of the other tools out there. And then the second question is, which steps have unstructured input or require some sort of judgment call from you that you can't easily predefine ahead of time? So those would be your AI steps within the automation. If this was useful, please subscribe. I post regularly on building real workflows with Relay, Airtable, and AI.